Welcome back, comrades. This is Gaming with Austin. And today, we are on episode 58 of Season 2 of The Sims 4 series. And today, what we're gonna do this episode is eventually, as the quality of the space fruits improves, eventually and we're gonna improve Christina's social skills right now. Evolve, fertilize, perfect. No need to fertilize those plants. That one needs fertilized too. As more and more plants reach perfect quality, as more and more plants reach demons paralyzed where they discover she has a demon heart. Message from one of my mates. The real cause of the fact that of why diets usually don't work, and that most of the people that lose weight end up relapsing their obesity, is that if some people don't relapse, being at a healthy weight for some people can actually kill them. For some people who are at a so-called normal weight, some of them need to be overweight to be healthy. For some people who lose weight, for some people, if they don't gain it back, they're gonna die from malnutrition, sadly. It's mainly because your body's designed to hold as much fat as possible. Which helps us survive famine, times of hardship. Trapped in this corner, just paralyzed, where they discover she has a demon heart. The true biological definition of underweight is so skinny, is being like having almost no body fat whatsoever, no matter how much you weigh. Because regardless of how much you weigh, going down to like 2 or even 1% body fat is considered underweight. It doesn't matter. Doctors would consider it underweight no matter how much you actually weigh. That is because your body needs fat. And back in the Stone Age, being at a so-called normal weight would have been considered a death sentence. Because back then, the real reason we eat so much food when a lot of food is abundant, a lot of it's because when there's a huge abundance of food, a lot of it has to do with our Stone Age survival tactics. A lot of it was out of survival. Basically, that's what helped animals survive famine. Because back in the Stone Age, we didn't know when our next meal was. So we had no choice but to eat a lot when a lot of food was available. It was a survival thing. Let's see what needs fertilized. Nope, nope. Who put terrorism on the felony list? The United Nations did. Because the UN considered Hitler a terrorist. People should still be allowed to own weapons. But they shouldn't put the guns in places where there's a lot of people or near places with a lot of people. Even with tough gun laws, crime rates will always go up in the events that food becomes scarce. That is because of something called biological competition. Animals compete for food. Those with a greater need to eat are basically physiologically. Sometimes there is a physiological drive for people to commit crimes, because some people have a greater need to eat. And sometimes, when you see a lot of food available, sometimes your metabolism goes up. You know, in Africa, even taking guns away will not stop people from killing the crap out of one another. Because a lot of the crime in Africa is actually the result of scarcity of food. So taking guns away will not work. It'll only add fuel to the problem. Dreaming black and white. I'm having her scavenge for more parts. I'm having her. You obsessing about food when you're starving is your brain's telling you that it's basically your brain waiting for food. Telling you that you need to eat soon. Which is why so many anorexics tend to obsess about food. The reason why some people are lazy is because it's a result of food scarcity, in which you'd have to conserve energy. Those who conserve energy have a greater chance of surviving a famine.
Oh, Snorka.
Having fun is basically psychological enrichment. Having fun as an adult can actually help increase your productivity in the workplace. With alcohol, the one food you should never eat, the one substance you should never consume if you're wanting to lose weight, is alcohol, especially ethanol. And its derivatives. Life cannot exist without energy. When people refer to alcohol, like the alcohol used in alcoholic drinks, the scientific name for it is ethanol. Get her back to sleep. Ethanol? It's not just used in booze. If your child is going through a growth spurt, they need to eat a lot. They really do need to eat a lot. They really do need to eat a lot when they're going through growth spurt. Why is your... One factor that's causing your child to eat so much is the fact that anabolic hormones have to stimulate your appetite. They're known to stimulate your appetite. If your child is suddenly developing an insatiable appetite, whenever your child starts to develop an insatiable appetite and suddenly gains weight unexplainably, children who are going through growth spurt have a greater physiological need to eat. Ship the cargo. Your child's sugar cravings are something they are born with. They never develop a sugar craving. It is actually something they are born with. Your child's sugar cravings are actually something they are born with. reading a video gamer. Harvest all. Weed the area. You know, back in the days of Nazi Germany, those who had an opinion against the death penalty actually ended up facing the death penalty. Because the reason Hitler wanted the death penalty was actually part of his ethnic cleansing program. When a government starts to kill innocent people, crime rate tends to go up. That is because they're trying to overthrow that repressive regime. Who's the one that really imposed the price tag on freedom? The United Nations really was the one behind it. The price tag on freedom is something that was imposed by the United Nations. So governments cannot control how free freedom really is. They cannot make it free, even if they really wanted to. That is because they have to comply with international law. Political leaders, even if they try to hold absolute power, they're still not free to do whatever they want, because they are subject to international law. Their actions are actually subject to international law. The United Nations is basically trying... What's good about it is it's trying to limit the power of the government, to make sure they don't abuse their people. The reason the cost of freedom was imposed by the United Nations is to limit the power of the government, to make sure they don't commit human rights violations, and to also make sure they do not legalize terrorism. Because the goal of the United Nations is to try to eradicate repressive regimes, like that of North Korea or Nazi Germany. Because we do not want America to end up like Nazi Germany. If you have a greater need to eat, and sometimes there is a physiological drive to greed, especially if you have a greater need to eat. telling your child no all the time is a really horrible idea. Gotta let them do certain things that a lot of us take for granted. Gotta let your child do certain things that we all take for granted. But you can't go out and let your child kill people. Because letting your child break the law, and on itself, is child abuse. If you don't give your child punishment for actions, for negative actions, there's a chance they're going to do it again. But if you punish them too harshly, they're going to retaliate. The reason you should never punish your cat for knocking over your vase, the reason they knock over their vase, they have to practice their hunting. That is because they are obligate carnivores. They have to practice their hunting. If they're not able to hunt, and they become feral cats, it'll be bad news for the cat. Cats hunt because it's necessary for their survival. It's necessary for their survival. Cats hunt because they have to. They are obligate carnivores. I believe that we should, like, if we stop our cats from hunting, it'll be bad news for the human race. If you punish your child simply because they were eating, that's child abuse. That is because food is a requirement for all life on Earth. Not just humans, but for all life on Earth. Most children will develop sugar cravings. Their sugar cravings start when they're just born. It doesn't go away until completely till adulthood. Your child's sugar cravings don't go away completely until they reach early adulthood. I need to give Ricky a chance to build up his handiness skill. Sometimes it's necessary to be lazy, especially if you don't have enough food in your shelter. And I'm gonna have Christina and Ricky do a bit of woohoo in the rocket ship. Yeah! $50 Mile High Club. She's gotta take a piss. I'm gonna have them go for another child. This is gonna be a bit of mating. anyways, this should be it for this video. Don't forget to leave a like if you like this video, dislike if you disliked it, subscribe for more. Share this with your comrades. As always, thank you for watching, stay tuned for more, and peace out. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram for more content like this.